Today is one of those rare days where I talk about a TWS earphone. Today, here in the studio, we have the SoundPeats Capsule 3 Pro Plus. Now that is a mouthful. These are a pair of earphones that do almost everything that my AirPods Pro Gen 2 can do, but at a fraction of the cost at $89. But the real question is it actually good? Starting things off with an unboxing, the Capsule 3 Pro Plus comes in a white box with most of its accolades plastered on the front of the box, including the high-res audio wireless logo, which will magically make the Capsule 3 Pro Plus sound 1000 times better. It also features LDAC, which will be great for those of you whose phone will support that Bluetooth protocol. Behind, you get mentions of the driver configuration, 1 XMEMS and a 12mm dynamic driver. Inside the box, you will be greeted by the earphone case, which houses the pair of earbuds inside them. On the top of the box, you will get another box consisting of the user manual, some ear tips, as well as a Panda sticker pack. I have no idea why the Panda sticker pack is there, but it's there. Next up, build quality. So yes, these cost $89, which is considerably lower than other popular TWS earphones such as the Sony WF-1000X Mark IV or the Apple Airpods Pro Gen 2. I will be mainly comparing these two models, as the feature set of the Capsule 3 Pro Plus is actually very similar to them rather than cheaper models, which is actually saying a lot. Starting with the earphone case, it is clearly made of plastic with a matte-like finishing. Honestly, it isn't particularly heavy or dense like that of the Sony or Apple, but I am really not expecting much as they cost quite a bit less compared to them. Internally, it has a 500 mAh battery, which can provide the earbuds with juice for quite a long time. Design-wise, it is really basic but quite pleasing. The only spot where things are a little iffy would be the "Hear Your Imagination" tagline. The hinge of the case is actually pretty nice and has a rather nice tactile feel, rather than it being like flopping around. The earphones themselves have a matte velvet plastic chassis and have some accents of gold on them. They are fashioned in a earbud sort of shape similar to that of the AirPods rather than IEMs. They are certainly quite well made. The chassis of the earbuds are basically two drivers, 1 XMEMS and 1 dynamic driver. Now XMEMS is quite a new driver type that is basically a silicone piezoelectric driver that needs its own dedicated high voltage amplification, which differs from that of a traditional driver design. I'm actually quite curious on how this sounds. Lastly, the earbuds themselves last about 6.5 hours. The charging case brings the total use time to about 43 hours. Features. For me, when it comes to features, apart from sound quality, I found that noise cancellation to be really the most important criterion. I'm really happy to say that the noise cancellation here does a better job than I have actually expected. I really have no expectation for these really, but it did surpass that. It is quite similar to my AirPods Pro in terms of performance. Also, ANC can be adaptive depending on your surroundings. For me, I like to listen to my music really quietly, so it's always on. There is no need for adaptive, but that's for me. As for Bluetooth, the Capsule 3 Pro Plus features Bluetooth 5.3. One thing to add, they have an IP rating of IPX6, which makes them water resistant. Good enough for weekly sweaty jogging sessions. It also features the following audio codecs such as LDAC, which supports up to 990 kbps should your device supports that. AAC is also available for folks who are on Apple, and SBC supporting all other devices. Also, you have the SoundPeats app, which allows you to configure the ANC settings as well as have various EQ settings should you wish. Right now, sound. Sonics is what interests me the most on the Capsule 3 Pro Plus. XMEMS has the characteristic of having very fast transients, and it is paired with a dynamic driver. Will it be too fast for the dynamic driver? It seems like SoundPeats actually is aware of this and managed to pair the XMEMS driver with a rather nimble dynamic driver. While it isn't perfect, they managed to mitigate this with a tuning that allows for the dynamic driver to perform optimally, keeping pace with the XMEMS mostly. The Capsule 3 Pro Plus features a refined V-shaped tuning that is balanced very nicely, unlike how affordable TWS are usually tuned with a huge shit ton of bass. It is all quite tastefully done here. Bass is rendered through the dynamic driver, as it does mostly a good job, as the tuning of the Capsule 3 Pro Plus is a moderate V-shape and not stressing the DD out too much by producing a ton of bass. It remains largely fast, nimble and dynamic. Please note that if you apply EQ in the bass section, it will very quickly overload the dynamic driver, causing transients to really slow down and be bloaty, so try not to do that. But if you left them stock, they will reward you with good levels of detail and rather fast transient. Mid-range. Here is where the X-MEMS takes over in terms of character. Tonally, it's a little narrow and more focused sounding. It renders mid-range with very good levels of detail. I found that the X-MEMS takes to EQ quite well, unlike the dynamic driver. As such, if you like to tinker with your EQ, you can do so in the mid-range frequency band, as the X-MEMS just take it without any complaints really. Resolution here is also pretty good, and certainly can compete with more expensive Apple models. Treble is also equally nimble, as the mid is also equally nimble, as it is also rendered on the X-MEMS driver. I found them to be largely smooth sounding without sibilance. It is also adequately airy. Treble extension here is good, taking into consideration of Bluetooth in general. Soundstage. Track used to test soundstage would be this track called Letter by Yoshi Horikawa. It's an amazing track, so if you like really good staging, listen to this. When it comes to width and height, it performs very well in both width and height. I won't say that it is excellent, but certainly very good. Depth and positioning. Depth is actually excellent on the Capsule 3 Pro Plus. The resonance of bass allows for really good depth perception. Positioning here is also pretty precise as well. So yeah, we're gonna talk about comparisons right now. People want to see this versus the Apple Airpods Pro Gen 2. So the Apple Pods Pro Gen 2 is my de facto TWS when I want to just take calls for casual listening. The thing that the Capsule 3 Pro Plus cannot beat the AirPods Pro is how effortless the AirPods Pro Gen 2 really integrates between different Apple products. I can just move to my iPad from my phone without missing a beat. Other than that, I found that the AirPods Pro Gen 2 to sound just a bit more cohesive sounding than the Capsule 3 Pro Plus. The AirPods just sound more natural by comparison. But to be fair, the Capsule 3 Pro Plus is no slouch either, as it manages to match the resolution of the Apple despite it being way cheaper. And now, finally, some ratings. So when it comes to packaging, considering there is really no effort when it goes to TWS packaging, I'd say the Capsule 3 Pro Plus does a very decent job. I really like the random panda stickers. There is no reason for it to be there, but it's there, so it's quite nice. I don't know why, but yeah, sometimes you don't need a reason to help people, you don't need a reason to do stupid things, but this is one of them. But seriously, let's talk about bass. If you did not touch the bass with any EQ, it is certainly very capable. It gets a 7. Mid-range, it is very speedy and detailed, a 7.5. Treble, it's really effortless and airy again, 7.5. Resolution is really resolving for TWS, so it gets a 7.5. And soundstage, pretty good width and height with generally great depth and positioning performance. And finally, in conclusion, if you spend too much money on IEMs and just want a TWS just for phone calls and the occasional run, I think the Capsule 3 Pro Plus will do a good job, as it manages to deliver a lot of the things that bigger brands do for cheap. People like cheap things, right? They will not give you a seamless transition between devices, but at its asking price, this is a trade-off that I am very happy and willing to make. With that said, thank you so much for watching the Super Audio Show. Yeah, if you're noticing why I'm wearing the same shirt as the video before, that's because I shot this back to back. I've been talking for a good hour now. I'm actually quite tired. With that said, thanks so much for watching. A like would be great, a sub would be fantastic. See you guys soon, very soon. Bye.